The future is now, and it's running out of time on BBC One. Buckle up again for a wild ride with Marty and Doc.
2015? I mean, we're in the future.
Look what happens to your son.
It's a complete win.
This one event starts a chain reaction that completely destroys your entire family.
Something very familiar about all this.
We're back. There are two of me here, and there are two of you here.
Michael J. Fox
Great Scott.
and Christopher Lloyd are back in Steven Spielberg's Back to the Future Part 2. Thursday night at 6:15, only on the Movie Channel. This is Sky Movies Plus, part of the British Sky Broadcasting Network.
Stop! That newspaper changed! Stop! My father's alive! That means everything's back to normal, right?
Mission accomplished.
That means Jennifer's okay and Annie's okay, right?
That's right, Bernie! It's the ripple effect! The future is dark! Now let's go home!
Right, Doc, let's get our asses back to the future!
Marchy McFly, Marchy McFly. Year 6 of Marchy McFly. Ready or not, Year 6 of Marchy McFly. I'm back, great Scott. It's Year 6. 31 straight days for you. In Year 6. It's Back to the Future Part 2. Every day. Gonna have a little talk of Marty and Doc. 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 Marty.
La 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 la. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is Sunday, March 29th, which means it is the 29th day of Marchy McFly, the 29th day of Marchy McFly 6, and for the 29th day in a row, I am here talking about 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Back to the Future Part 2 to each and every one of you. Happy Sunday, everybody. It is my first full day back from my little Florida trip. I really don't want to focus on that anymore. I want to look to the future and not the past. But in order to do that, we still have to go back to the past of 1985 to talk more about the future of this podcast and the future of this movie. And I don't really know what I'm saying. I didn't really rehearse any of this. It's just kind of stream of consciousness, and that's what you get. I do have to say, I thought maybe I'd get this show recorded and done earlier. I thought maybe I'd crash earlier. Just because of the long trip. And today I woke up fairly early, but I didn't do the grocery shopping as early as possible. First thing, but I found that I was driving all day. I went and got coffee in the morning. Then I went and got groceries. Then I went and ran some errands. Okay, fine. I had a coupon to Savers, which is this super thrifting store, and it was a coupon for books. And I love looking through books at thrift stores. So I went there and I got a couple books. Then I filled the gas tank for my wife because she actually has to go to work. I get to work from home. Even though tomorrow I have the day off, and but I'm not going to be recording early because tomorrow is Special Guest Monday. But then I came home. Then I went. What happened? Oh, I got a something at a Buc-ee's. Look, I'm back on the trip. I said I wouldn't be, but here I look. You know the show at this point. You know me at this point. It's a lot of rambling. Then we get down to brass tacks. I got a stuffed animal at the Buc-ee's, a stuffed Buc-ee's beaver. I guess he's a beaver, badger, beaver, and I got it for a guy I went to high school with. That we were talking back and forth on Facebook. He said, if you can get something, let me know. I'll Venmo the money to you. He did that. He actually gave me a little extra, which was very nice. So I met him today, gave that to him because he was happened to be like less than 5 minutes from my house. So was able to do that. Then later went out to get dinner. Then later went out to take my dog for a walk. So I think I went on like 6 different car rides today. And I feel like I just should have stayed home, curled up with a good book and a coffee, and none of that happened. So the moment I'm done with this, I'm going to curl up. Now, I just had a coffee, which probably wasn't a good idea. It is 9:45 at night, but I will curl up with the book and immediately read one page and fall asleep. And my Kindle will be on the ground, and my glasses will be, like next to my head. But that's after this. This is where I need to focus right now. This is where I need to spend the rest of my brain matter right now, talking about these 3 minutes and 20 seconds. Today, we will be discussing minutes 93:20 to 96:40. We are right towards the end. We kind of get the last, no, well, I was going to say we get the last moment of Doc, but we don't get the last moment of Doc Brown, like in general. We get the last moments of this Doc Brown, Doc Prime, right? I was saying Marty Prime is the one we're kind of following the story with. Marty 55 was the guy that we saw from the original movie. So we're going to see the end of Doc Prime in this segment, but it's not the end of Doc completely. And we will see him, I think, on the final day. But let's not waste any more time. Let's get right into the next 3 minutes and 20 seconds of Back to the Future Part 2. Oh, could you still hear that? I was trying to say 2 as long as I possibly could. Anyway, we pick up this 3. I have it right in front of me. We're going to walk through it step by step because it's kind of a great 3 minutes and 20 seconds, but it's also kind of a frustrating one when I look at the details of things and I think about things logically. And I talked about this yesterday a bit, but something happens in this 320. Actually, a few things happen in this 320 that bother me. They stay with me. 2 of them are little. 2 of them are, it's like, really would this happen? But one of them, which I discussed yesterday, just I don't know. Well, let's get there. So we pick up right with Marty in the tunnel, and he realizes, oh no, Biff is going to run me over, and he's going to kill me. And you think, well, Biff's a teenager. He's not the evil, maniacal Biff we see in the alternate 1985, but he's still Biff Tannen. We know what he tried to do, what he did do to Lorraine. Thankfully, George stopped him. We know what he's capable of in the future. And now we see he's really just trying to run down Marty McFly. And thankfully, Marty has a bit of a head start. Like he's almost halfway through the tunnel. He just needs to get to the other side. I guess, in a way, does he have to do any of this? So he starts pedaling or kicking as much as he can to get this hoverboard, moving. And he's moving at a pretty good clip, but not as good as Biff, speeding straight at him with a motorized vehicle. There's a couple of shots that are really cool. Just the overall look. I remember, was it in the Future Boy book that Michael J. Fox talked about how, nervous he was riding the skateboard at night at the Twin Pine Malls and the Lone Pine Mall, because he wanted to make it look believable and make it look like he's comfortable, but they wet down the road at night to make it shiny, to just, I guess, to give it more texture. And you notice that here in the tunnel, like the tunnel floor, the ground is soaked, and they're in a tunnel. I mean, that tunnel is easily leaking. So there's definitely a problem with the infrastructure of Hill Valley. And again, I'm sorry, but it goes right to the mayor. Now, this is 1955, so it really is Mayor Red Thomas's problem. I can't blame Goldie Wilson, but it just seems like, are they ever going to get a mayor that really takes care of things? I mean, in the future, we have Mayor Goldie Wilson III, and we have this beautiful community called Hilldale that I guess turns into a shit show. So, again, it just goes right to the top every time. Corruption in the mayor's office. So, I do love the shot, the camera is at a downward angle looking up at Biff's car in the tunnel. It's just really nicely framed. I'm just talking like film grammar. It's just a really nice shot. And then you get the overhead shot. Same thing with the camera following along. I wonder how they did this. Is there a crane, just a car following them with the camera up on a crane? I'm guessing nowadays maybe that'd even just be a drone. And you see the cool shot of Marty, or the Marty stunt double, pushing along. I wonder if that's just an actual skateboard there. The only real bad shot is there's a one little moment right at the beginning of Marty trying to start kicking fast, that they show him kicking. It's just like his legs and kicking the hoverboard. It just looks definitely like it's composited on the screen. Like it looks like it's not there, like it's done in front of a green screen. So he is kicking along as fast as he can. Now, Biff is excited because he's about to kill Marty McFly, and it definitely looks like he's way too far away from the tunnel, but he's getting there. Now, if I was Marty, I would just turn around and grab the front of the car, and you're on a hoverboard, and just while he's pushing you, you go, okay, and just slowly make your way around it. Like, remember in Marty 55, if you go back to the first movie, the exact thing happens. He is on a much less stable skateboard. It's not even a skateboard. It's a scooter that he turned into a skateboard. And he was able to use that. Like, he could have done the same sort of thing, which might have been a cool callback. He turns around, the car's pushing at him, and this time, instead of letting go of the skateboard and running over the car, he could have done it with the hoverboard. He could have done the exact same thing. That would have been better, actually. It would have been a great callback that he runs through Biff's car. In fact, that might have been a better way of him getting the almanac. It's like, now Biff's coming straight at him, and he's got the almanac, and he jumps over, runs through, grabs the almanac that way. I don't know, something kind of better than this, where he goes as fast as he can, and then all of a sudden we see the rope with the flags on it that got caught in the DeLorean, which just was kind of a happy accident. Though maybe this was part of Doc's plan the entire time. I don't know. Again, think about it. Doc leaves a 17-year-old boy with a futuristic hoverboard to chase after a maniacal 17-year-old boy in a car. If Doc came to the other end and he drops the rope and he drops over, he's like, I hope this works. And all he sees is Biff's car flying through, and just Marty's just like plastered remains all over the front of the car. Oh my God, what have I done? And he just has the rope there. And honestly, the rope gets caught on the Ford, pulls the DeLorean straight down, and Doc is killed. And then they come and they check the dental records. They're like, oh my God, this matches Emmett L. Brown. But there's already another Emmett L. Brown. Like, all kinds of crazy shit would happen. But instead, what does happen is Marty grabs this rope, and it's tied into the car. So Doc, had this plan. He has it tied in the car because we saw him gathering the rope before on the roof of the high school, and he turns the wheel and pulls Marty straight up in the air. Now, he pulls Marty straight up in the air right over Biff's car. Biff looks up. He looks up into the air, and he sees this light. He sees 4 lights flying up with a boy on a magical skateboard hanging from a rope flying over, and he never thinks of it again because he turns and there's is that Jones manure truck again? Yes, the giant truck filled with shit. He smashes. He just got the car fixed. He just picked it up this morning. Charles Fleischer is going to be like, dude, you have a bit of a problem. Like, I think you like this. Like, what is going on? How do you have your car filled with horse shit again? Because he turns, he smashes right into the car, and he goes, actually, he has a great line where he's like, manure, I hate manure. It's better in in part 3, but it's the manure again. Like, why did it have to be manure? But it was a fun callback. But Biff looked up, and he must have been like, how was he with a flying spaceship? Is he an alien? What is going on? He should be in the paper talking about this. And then he could talk about the flying car, and Peabody would be like, I saw the flying car too. There must have been an alien. And then George McFly's like, oh my God, there's been an alien. I saw him too. They're like, wait a second. This young guy came out of nowhere. Was he the alien? Could it have been him? Like, you'd have 3 different people talking about an alien. You had George, who said Darth Vader came down from the planet Vulcan and said he's going to melt his brain. You got Peabody, who's shooting at his car, his son, thinking that Sherman, who thinks that, it's an alien. It's already mutated to human form, so obviously it's a human. And they're like, we saw that young kid hanging from it, Calvin Klein. Oh my God, he was the alien the entire time. Marty should have come back to 1985, and Hill Valley should have been Hill Valley, home of Alien Boy, home of Darth Vader, home of something like that would have been a vast improvement. Not in 1985, not in the original, but now after this, that's what changed. Most of the things are the same. George still, George works with Biff now. Biff, like, instead of being a car buffer, they're now paranormal investigators and alien investigators and extraterrestrial investigators because they have this shared experience. And Sherman Peabody, he grew up to also join them. So the 3 of them work on, or maybe they make stories together. It's like written by George McFly and Biff Tannen. Like, Marty comes. There should be more. There is no consequence for the fact that Biff saw the DeLorean flying overhead. There should have been a consequence, and there wasn't. And I think that's just a missed opportunity with the writers. So I blame Bob Gale for that one. So they've, I don't know how far away they are, but thankfully they were going in the same direction because Doc flies all the way back to Lion Estates, where I guess that's where they're thinking. I don't know why they're in Lion Estates, to be honest with you, but maybe this is the plan the entire time. He carried Marty the whole way hanging on the rope like that. I mean, I guess the hoverboard might have helped, but I don't know. I'd be like, Doc, can you let me down? No, let's fly all the way to the Lion Estates. So he gets there. Now, I really like this shot where they let Marty goes down on the ground, and I'm wondering, it's quick. I think all they're saying is, Michael J. Fox, just keep your right leg bent. Just keep it bent. But it looks like he's standing on the hoverboard, which is hovering, 6 inches off the ground. So I think that's a really, I don't think there's any special effect there. I think it's literally just, Marty, keep your right knee bent, and it works. So he lets go of the rope. Then he calls up to Doc and says, is everything okay? He's like, yeah, the weather's a little iffy, for me to land, but I'm gonna, come back around and try to make a landing. Like, I guess he's trying to work through all the weather that's blowing everything around. Do you have the book? And Marty's like, I have it in my hands. He goes, good, burn it. 10-4. So he goes and, like, he finds a bucket. Now, why is there a bucket there? Was that part of the plan? Now, this is a rickety old bucket. And again, he didn't need the bucket, I guess. He could have just burned it right there. So the bucket's not that necessary. But another shot I love is when he lets go of the hoverboard. It's standing there next to him, 6 inches off the ground, and it's just wavering a little. I don't know if they have it attached to just a little arm that's moving it. It just adds to the realism. So is there like coal already in this bucket? There's just junk in this bucket. Doesn't matter. He puts the almanac in the bucket, and he takes out a match. Very important. At the beginning of this movie, Biff wanted to show Marty his new matchbooks, because apparently in the 80s, matchbooks were a great way to advertise. I think just because so many more people smoked then, I suppose. Jesus, you smoke too? And he had it for auto detailing. Then, of course, he had one for Biff's Pleasure Palace. And Marty took that with him back to, he stole it when he escaped the alternate 1985. So he has the matchbook in his hands. He uses those matches to light the almanac on fire, and when it starts burning, things start to change. So he's all kind of, you can see the relief on Marty's face, like, I did it. He looks, he sees the matchbook that says Biff's, and when he turns it over, Pleasure Palace turns into auto detailing. It just changes right there. Now, what I'm thinking, is it Pleasure Palace or Pleasure Paradise? It doesn't matter. I'm thinking, shouldn't the matchbook erase completely? Because he didn't get the match from the original Biff. But I guess maybe that matchbook does exist. And so it goes back to, that matchbook should not exist. It just should disappear and completely. I'm talking about logically speaking, like with the physics, and I don't even know if I'm correct. But to me, I think he took a matchbook that was created from in a world that doesn't exist anymore, and now he has that matchbook. Should it alternate to the version that does exist, or just disappear? I think it should disappear completely. But again, for the fate of this movie, it's a cool little trick to show him, oh my God, things went back to the way they were before. And when he realizes that, he's like, oh goodness, this newspaper, I took this newspaper. He pulls out the newspaper that says George McFly murdered, local author shot. Now it's interesting, is like the headlines, some of the text is kind of gray. And I think maybe because it's already fading, I'm guessing that's why. It's definitely lighter than the text that doesn't change, because we see that the paper starts to alter or morph, whatever you want to say. George McFly murdered fades away. Local author shot fades away. And then what comes in, it changes to George McFly honored, local author receives award. Now, how good was his book in 1985? That was his big book, He gets an award in 1973. So he's already a pretty good author. He's a local author still. I guess maybe, I don't know what award he got. Maybe it's a small award. George McFly honored. Didn't they say in one of the comics he got murdered after he got honored at the same, like it was the same thing? I don't know. Maybe, you know what? That it would have to be. But I have to tell you something. Is that front page news? Like, I feel like the whole front page should be different. This is the paper from that day. On that day, the biggest news in the world was that George McFly got an award. It talks about, like, it says Indians continue wounded in the occupation. South Dakota stand up for 116th day. That should be the goddamn headline. Not this guy who went to Hill Valley High got an award. The headline of the paper, it shouldn't be there at all. And it's not like that's one thing. We see it in another paper too. First of all, why are these on the front page of Hill Valley? Is Hill Valley that small? The murder, I definitely see that. But remember, Doc has a paper too. So Marty, of course, is excited. He's like, oh my God, it worked. He calls up to Doc and he goes, Doc, the paper changed. My father, he's alive. That means everything's back to normal. And Doc's like, oh, I have a newspaper too. And it said Emmett Brown committed, crackpot inventor, legally insane. Biffco to build new dioxin plant, and Nixon to seek fifth term, vows end to the Vietnam War by 1985. Doc has, again, he's in a straitjacket with two guys grabbing him. It's a pretty funny photo, actually. I wish I could have that photo, just that photo in a frame. It says he's going to mental ward B. Now, we see that newspaper changes as well, from Emmett Brown committed to Emmett Brown commended. Now, Emmett Brown commended. Local inventor receives civic award. Again, that is the number one headline. It's funny. Biff Coda build new dioxin plant now changes to Mayor Wilson vetoes zoning bill. Local crackpot inventor declared legally insane, says local inventor receives civic award. He's now just shaking hands with these guys. I guess that's the mayor's at Red Thomas on the right. I don't know. Reagan to seek second term. No Republican challengers expected. Instead of the Nixon going for fifth term. So this is right in the 83 area, I guess we could say. But it seems to me, in general, insane that both newspapers would have headlines about these two characters for completely different reasons. The murdered part, I get. The honored part, I don't think that's front page material. Committed, yeah, Hill Valley. Again, this is the Hill Valley newspaper. That makes sense. But commended, again, front page, the headline, I don't know about that. But it makes for a good movie gag. And sometimes that is the drawback of this movie, that it does something for the gag, does something. That's most of this movie. Most of the things wrong with this movie are it does something for the gag, including all the chicken stuff. It does it for the setup to get to this, even though logically it doesn't make sense, or even just narratively, is that the right word? It doesn't fit in with the Back to the Future that we knew beforehand. Again, picking apart these movies, I'm doing it out of love. I still enjoy this. This is much more of a popcorny movie than the first one or the third one. I feel like the first and third one have heart that this one doesn't have, and it's not like it's even trying to go. It's not like it tried and it failed. It's not doing that. This is more madcap, I guess you could say. So Marty's paper changes. Doc's paper changes, and you could see the big smile on Doc's face. I mean, that is one huge ass smile Doc has right there. His eyes are crazy. I mean, they said wild-eyed scientist, right? I mean, they aren't wrong here. So Marty screams up, "That means Jennifer's all right, and Einie too, right?" And Doc's like, "That's right, Marty. It's the ripple effect." I guess that's what they're using here. So he says, "The future is back. Let's go home." And Marty is like, "All right, here's my big chance." It's his time to say it. "Let's go back to the..." And then a giant lightning bolt strikes, an explosion, hits a tree, and it's a really good effect. The tree explodes. That looks like a practical explosion right there. And there's someone there, so we definitely have the stunt double there next to the sign. The lightning bolt goes crazy. The tree explodes. The tree hits the ground right by the billboard. But the one thing we didn't see was the DeLorean. Where was the DeLorean after the lightning struck? We don't know. But we will discuss what happens tomorrow. Tomorrow, the 30th. Tomorrow, a very special guest, a veteran of Marchy McFly. He may be the only person to be in all 6 Marchy McFlys. I believe so. This 6th will be, but I think he might even be the only one who's been in all the original 5. I think, and I could be wrong. I don't know. My buddy Jason, I know he was definitely in 1 and 2. He was in the original trilogy, and he came back for McFive. I don't think he was in the animated year. The down. I call it the down year. The year. I feel like it's the year in flux. We had the original trilogy, then we have this animated thing, and then we rebooted and went back. The rebooted version of of Marchy, where we got back on track and started focusing on the movies again. But the man who's joining tomorrow, he has been here for all of them. In fact, is he the most prolific Geek Mentality guest star? I'm not entirely sure, but I know he's been in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 episodes of Geek Mentality. And he also appeared in the Marchy McBonus episode. So he is easily the most prolific Geek Mentality guest to ever grace this podcast, and he will be joining us tomorrow for the penultimate episode of Marchy McFly 6, where we figure out and find out what happened to Doc Prime. But for today, I'd say we're done. I think we covered everything. I really wanted to talk about those two newspapers. Nothing really changed on the George McFly paper, except that he went from being murdered to being honored. So kind of a big deal for him. But on Doc's paper, a bunch of stuff changed. The Nixon went to Reagan, the Bifco went to Goldie Wilson, and of course, him being Doc Brown committed to commended. It's a funny little gag, but again, not quite logically making sense. But who cares? I do. I care a lot, but I also don't care. I love talking about it. I love thinking about it. But in the end, I love this movie for what it is. A weird sequel to a classic movie. But let's get to the end, right? We're almost to the end. We're almost to the finish line. 2 more days. That is it. One with the guest, and then we finish out going solo for that final episode Tuesday night. But that's Tuesday. I'll be back again tomorrow. Until then, you can follow me on all the socials at Geek Mentality, except TikTok, which is Geek Mentality Mike. The Facebook page is Fans Not Experts. The YouTube channel is Fans Not Experts. And the website, of course, is fansnotexperts.com. I will see you tomorrow, my friends, with a very special guest. But until then, thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. And I can't believe that Biff never thought about that DeLorean again. That really bugs me thinking about it, but that's okay. I'll be back to babble more about this movie tomorrow. Here is my theme song.
This is my podcast, I made it. Geek Mentality's what I named it. And I think you should listen and subscribe, 'cause I'm kinda funny and awesome. I think that I'm worth your time, and I'm kinda handsome. My mom says, please listen and please subscribe. At least listen to this episode.
Fans Not Experts.